I think it's about time that we go over Sprintray's Studio Beta in the cloud. This is their hybrid AI design software, right now only approved for crowns, but they're working on overlays, inlays, and onlays. So I'm just going to go through a very simple case, a single unit posterior crown on tooth number 30. I'm going to show you guys how we do it. First, you log into your Wayware, and if you do have a Midas printer, you'll be able to see that Studio Beta right there. You'll click that, you'll add a new patient, and you'll put the pertinent patient information into the text fields, and then you could go on from there. Now, one thing I'm going to say is that this is super simple. I like that they don't bog you down with unnecessary data that they force you to fill out, and even the chart numbers optionally left blank. Now, once you start, you're going to see they have Crown already active. And again, it is an early beta. They also have overlay. They're working on an inlay and onlay. You're going to hit load upper jaw, and you're going to find the STL, OBJ, or apply. Now, notice that I'm bringing in a OBJ, but it still comes in as like a monochromatic stone view. I'm not so sure why that is. I think maybe full color models are just not working for me right now in this studio beta, but I know that's something that's going to be supported. Once you load your models, you're going to go ahead and click the tooth that you're working on. And this is where, AI algorithms kind of take over, and it is an active learning model where it does keep getting better and better and better. And what it's doing is it's segmenting out the prepped tooth from the rest of the teeth in the arch, picking the ideal path of insertion, and auto-generating a margin. Let's see how it did. Oh, really good, actually. That path of insertion is perfect. You can edit it, but I don't know if it actually changes anything currently. I think that's still a beta feature that's not active. You can see the undercut highlight there. I think it's a little bit too aggressive because it seems to be highlighting things that are not really undercut below my margin, maybe. But anyway, it defaults to a margin line where you get control points with balls that you could edit, much like exocad, or you could come in and remove that whole thing and mark the margin from scratch. Kind of defeats the purpose of the AIs, in the beginning where it was trying to figure this out for you. But I do notice that it never really gets it perfect to begin with anyway. So some of you power users just might want to go ahead and pick your own margin from the get-go. And once you do that, you have control points where you could click the line at any given point to add a ball. And the ball is your control point to move it around the margin. Once you're happy with that margin, you hit next. And it's going to go ahead and ask if you want to proceed forward. And here we go. So now this is actually really fast. It gives you this kind of helper tooth. And the helper tooth is AI generated. It puts it kind of in the right spot, and it's this kind of green tooth. But you do have the ability to now rotate it and move it to the direction that you want if you want to help out the AI a little bit. I call this kind of, I think I find that it actually gets it pretty good almost every single time for me. And I don't really have to rotate it or stretch it. It's really impressive, but they do give you those tools if you want to do that. Now, the morph tool I do use all the time, and that is new. It's the ability to grab sections of the tooth and it becomes like rubber and you can move it around. I like to blunt my non-functional cusps, broaden my proximal contacts, and then the yellow areas are showing you potential thin areas of your restoration. I don't know what their thinness parameters are. It seems to be insanely thick where it wants you to have like a 2 millimeter thick crown or something crazy, but I just ignore all that anyway. And then once you're going to proceed on, once you find that you have your kind of tooth in the hole where you want it. And this is a little bit sped up. It's like 2x. It does take a little bit of time. It gives you now a crown that is sucked down to the margin. I'm going to give it a thumbs up because I think it's really awesome. But let's take a look now. I'm going to turn on the occlusion by hitting the icon right there in the top right-hand corner, and you get a color map. Now, purple or lilac or lavender or whatever this color is 200 microns out of occlusion, and that is exactly what I want because I'm going to put glaze on this crown, and I don't want it to be in hyper-occlusion. Now, you could turn on and off your models by hitting the eyeball icon on the object browser on the top left. And the proximal contacts you want to be 0. So you don't want any mesh penetration in the proximal contact zone. If anything, you maybe want, 10 microns of mesh penetration for a tight contact, depending on whether you're going to polish or glaze. For me, I'm glazing, so I want 0 glaze or candy coat. I want 0 proximal contact strength. Now, once it's sucked down to the margin, you do still have the ability to move it again. It's kind of redundant to the first step where you kind of help the AI out. It's the similar tools, and you notice that when you do move it, if you recapitulate the color map, it then updates the occlusion, and see we have super hyper occlusion now. I'm gonna go ahead and undo that. The more powerful tools probably at this stage are not the global positioning tools, but just the freeform tools, the sculpting tools they call them. You have flatten, smooth, add, and you do have the ability to control the strength and the surface area of these tools. I do find that all the tools work fairly well except smooth. I would like for smooth to be much more aggressive and make the highs lower and the lows higher, like a proper smooth tool. I usually judge a CAD software by the smooth tool. I'm kind of a smooth snob. But you can see here, like I'm wanting to kind of eliminate that divot on the distal lingual cusp that I created from the remove tool. It's not working that well. Okay, you also have morph, except this time morph has kind of a lag. So in the beginning, when the tooth was green and not fused down in the margin, the morph tool was instantaneous. This now here in the morph tool, when it's fused to the margin, is a little bit of a lag. That again is, I think, a beta issue that is going to be corrected. All in all, you have all the tools that you'd want to fabricate a crown. It's actually super easy. I don't know why people haven't been given this a little bit more love. It is a phenomenal head start, I think, with a free included with the purchase of the MEDIT AI software. Now, the reason why I haven't been using it a ton is because I don't really 3D print crowns that much. I think that the resins lend themselves better for partial coverage, but crown resins that I'm going to use are coming in next year, so I'm getting my head start by learning the software. Now, when you do generate your crown, it will say I fixed the minimum thickness errors. I'm gonna actually not have it fix my minimum thickness errors and just go to advanced and have it keep all my edits minus the auto minimum thickness correction. And then you hit load to Rayware and it instantly puts the crown and nests it on, in this case, the MEDIT. You could nest it on any other printer as well if you want to use this for your Pro 2 or Pro 55 crown kit or whatever you're using. I'm just going to edit my supports a little bit. And one thing I love about the Pro 2 and the MEDIT is the creative support structures you're able to have where you eliminate all your supports on your occlusal surfaces. So let's just check. I finished this. I popped the supports off. I glazed it with one of the new glazes coming next year that it's like a fusion glaze that soaks down into the surface and really creates a protective coating on the restoration. And this thing is just awesome. I don't know. Let's check the fit here. Again, people complain like, oh, it's so hard to finish these. It literally took me 3 minutes to finish this. It is the easiest thing in the world to do, and I cannot wait for 2025 for the new materials to come out that will give me more confidence in the wear resistance of these. Now, out of 10,000 3D printed restorations plus over the course of 5 years, I have not had more than 5 break. Breaking doesn't seem to be an issue for me. Resin is remarkably resilient. Wear is an issue for crowns, and I think Sprintray is going to surprise us in 2025 with some brand new resins. I cannot wait. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have fun with this software. Check it out and play around with it and let me know what you think about it.